Hey y'all, for this week's assignment, you are going to be drawing your shoe 3 different ways using non-objective art, realistic art, and abstract art. Non-objective art actually is abstract art, but it's called non-objective because it literally means no object. The viewer can interpret the artwork in many different ways, and the audience tends to disagree on what the artwork represents because it doesn't look like anything. Realism is the complete opposite. There is no debate about what this is a picture of. It looks exactly like an eye, and in fact, it looks like a very realistic eye, like I could reach out and touch it, so this would be considered an example of realism. The last example I have for you today is considered abstract impressionism. The painting is not very realistic like the eye was before, but you can still make out images and objects. You can tell this is a cafe with tables, people eating, a waiter. It's a busy night street. You can still see all those things and all those details, but it's not represented quite as clearly as the eye was. So for this project, go into Sketches School and upload a picture of a shoe. It could be a picture of your shoe, or it can be one that you downloaded off the internet. That's not a problem for me as long as it's school appropriate. Now when you bring in the picture of the shoe, make sure you make the shoe big enough so that it takes up the whole page, and there's a little bar at the bottom. Slide that so your shoe is slightly transparent. That's going to make it easier for you to draw with later. When you are finished, hit the check mark. Now get out your ruler tool and make sure your ruler is perfectly vertical or at 90 degrees. And we're going to separate our canvas into thirds. So I'm going to draw one line where I think about a third is, and making sure I go all the way off the page. So I zoomed in there to make sure I could do that. And then I'm going to draw another line, and my canvas should be divided into thirds, still making sure I go all the way off the page. We're going to start in the middle with your realistic art. You should be using either the pen tool or the really long and skinny pointy paintbrush. That is completely up to you. Which size you use is completely up to you. I just need to make sure that I see black ink and that you have really taken your time to outline every line that you see or trace every line that you see here. I'm going to be looking for lots of detail in the middle section because it should be like realistic art. And I did add a little bit thicker line to the outside of my shoe drawing just to make it look a little bit more like a sticker. Now I'm sorry about this next part, but my iPad did not record the rest of my drawings, but I'm just going to talk about the other two sides. For the right hand side, you should be doing abstract art. And notice I didn't actually draw the shoe. However, I used other images to kind of make up the shape of the shoe. I'm thinking I'm gonna turn this into coral and some waves for the abstract section. So I drew a fish down there at the bottom. On the non-objective side, I needed to have 0 shapes. I didn't need it to have it look like anything in particular. So I just drew some random organic shapes that still kind of followed the overall feel of the shoe, but didn't look exactly like the shoe. Now I really can't tell you exactly what to do for the left and the right hand side, so that part is completely up to you and your creativity. Just make sure on the right hand side or the abstract side, you are doing things that make up the shape of the shoe and show some of the detail of the shoe. And for the left hand side or the non-objective art, that it doesn't look anything like a shoe. I should not be able to read that in the picture at all, but you use some of the same shapes. All right, good luck.